your grandmother dreams about kids, that's wealth coming your way. Someone in the family might offer to buy it, even as a joke. If you dream about a golden dragon, ancestors giving you gifts, those are fortunes waiting to be claimed. But here is the dark side that nobody talks about. The transaction only works until both parties understand what's being traded. A dream comes out after your voice is something valuable. It has to split. So what happens when someone lies to you about what dream means? What happens your best friend steals your fortune and convinces you to thank her for it? I found the story on a Korean forum a few years back, and it was posted by someone claiming to be the younger sister of one of the women involved. The account has been deleted since then, and of course, I have no way to verify if any of it is true, but it really stuck with me, and after you hear it, I think it'll stick with you too. So today's story involves two women, Jimin and Soyeon. They'd been best friends since middle school in Daegu. It was the kind of friendship where you tell each other everything, where you're practically sisters. They went to the same high school, same university. They were in each other's weddings. Well, Soyeon's wedding, anyway, because Jimin never married. And by the time they were 31, their lives looked pretty similar on paper. Both worked decent jobs, Jimin as a graphic designer, Soyeon in HR at a manufacturing company. Both rented small apartments in the same neighborhood, and both were still figuring things out the way most people are at that age. But there were differences, small ones, that had always been there. Jimin was the kind of person things just seemed to work out for. Not in dramatic ways. She wasn't wealthy or famous, but she had a warmth that drew people to her. She would walk into a job interview and somehow leave with a position, even against more qualified candidates. She'd adopt a senior cat that the vet said had 6 months to live, and the cat would thrive for another 5 years. Her relationships always ended gently, without ugliness. Her parents adored her. Life just seemed to flow for Jimin. But Soyeon worked harder for everything. She was smarter than Jimin. She knew this objectively, but she had to fight for every opportunity while Jimin seemed to stumble into them. Her marriage was fine, but passionless. Her job was secure, but stagnant. She loved Jimin, genuinely loved her, but sometimes, late at night, she would lie awake and wonder why life had chosen to be kind to one of them and not the other. And she never said any of this out loud. She barely admitted it to herself. Then Jimin told her about the dream. It started in January. Jimin mentioned, almost casually, that she'd been having the same dream every night for a week. She was standing in a hanok, a traditional Korean house, wearing a red and gold wedding hanbok. She could hear drums and celebration outside, and when she walked into the courtyard, there was a huge feast laid out on a long table. And sitting at the head of the table was a white tiger. And it wasn't attacking her, it wasn't hunting, it was just watching her with those calm golden eyes. And in the dream, Jimin didn't feel afraid. She felt chosen, protected. It's so strange, Jimin said over coffee. I keep waiting for it to change, but it's exactly the same every night. The same house, the same feast, the same tiger looking at me like it's been waiting. Soyeon's grandmother had been superstitious. Old beliefs, village beliefs, the kind of Soyeon's parents dismissed as backward thinking, but Soyeon had listened as a child, and she remembered. A white tiger, a wedding feast, 7 nights in a row, and she knew what that dream meant, or at least she knew enough to be curious. You should get it interpreted, Soyeon said carefully. Just for fun. My grandmother used to know a budang. Budang here is a Korean shaman. I could find out if she's still practicing. And Jimin laughed. Her parents were both academics, and she had grown up in a household where fortune-telling was entertainment for tourists. Nothing more. I don't believe in any of that, she said. I know, but aren't you curious? 7 nights in a row? That's got to mean something, even if it's just your subconscious trying to tell you something. Jimin shrugged. Okay, maybe. If you can find someone, I'll go. It might be fun. Soyeon did find someone, a budang named Pak Chunja, who operated out of a small shrine in the hills outside the city. Her grandmother had visited them decades ago and swore she was the real deal. But Soyeon didn't tell Jimin about the appointment she made. Not at first. She went alone. The shrine was exactly what you'd expect. For incense thick in the air, an altar crowded with offerings. Pak Chunja was in her early 60s, small and thin, with gray hair pulled into a tight bun. She had what people call the eyes, that unsettling way some shamans will get you, like you're seeing something standing right behind you. Soyeon described Jimin's dream in detail. The hanbok, the wedding hanbok, the feast, the white tiger with golden eyes. And Pak Chunja listened without expression. When finished, the Buddha was quiet for a long moment. This is your dream? She finally asked. No, my friend's. She doesn't believe in these things. She asked me to find out what it means. I see. Pak Chunja's eyes narrowed slightly. And you? What do you believe? Soyeon hesitated. I'm not sure, but I want to know what it means. The Buddha studied her for what felt like minutes. A white tiger at a wedding feast, she said slowly, appearing 7 nights in a row. This is not a common dream. It's not even a rare dream. In 40 years, I've heard of dreams happen twice. What does it mean? The white tiger is a guardian. One of the most powerful. It chooses who it protects. You can summon it, you can burn it. It simply appears decided to watch over. The white tiger at a wedding feast means the guardian is chosen to protect your friend for life. The hanok represents a stable home. The celebration represents lasting happiness. Everything about this dream is a blessing. And at that moment, Susan felt something cold settle in her stomach. A blessing? One of the most powerful I've ever heard of. And your friend, she's going to be protected. Fortune will follow her. Not in obvious ways, perhaps, but major will pass her by. And she will be lucky. Always. The word hung in the air. Lucky. The thing Jimin had always been. The thing Soyeon had never been. And there's no way to... Soyeon stopped herself. She wasn't sure what she was asking. And Pak Chunja's expression didn't change, but something shifted in her eyes. Dreams can be sold, she said quietly. You know this. Yes. If someone were to purchase this dream to take the blessing onto themselves, they would receive the tiger's protection instead. But the seller would have to agree. They would have to understand what they're giving away. What if they didn't understand? What if someone told them the dream meant something else? The Buddha was silent for a long time. That was a form of theft, she finally said. And like all theft, it carries consequences. Was deceived, they don't lose, they lose its opposite. The person becomes vulnerable to everything. She paused. But this is old, very old. Not true. I don't know what I was taught. Soyeon sat with this for a while. How much would a dream like this be worth if someone wanted to buy it? The seller sets the price, traditionally something of equivalent value, but if the seller doesn't understand what they have, Pak Chun just shrugged. They might accept anything. That night, Soyeon couldn't sleep. She Soyeon struggled for every scrap of happiness. It wasn't fair. Now she had a white tiger, a in spirit forever. And she didn't even believe in it. Didn't even believe it. She knew it, but it's she was herself there 3 days. On the fourth day, she called Jimin. I found a budang, she said. What my grandmother used to say, I went to drink. Jimin sounded pleased. What did she say? Soyeon took a break. She said it's bad luck, really bad. Silent. Bad luck? A guardian in this context. A tiger at a feast is a predator preparing to strike. The wedding dress means, I don't know, something about being vulnerable, defenseless. She said the dream is a warning. Something bad is coming for you. That's unsettling. Jimin laughed nervously. I mean, I don't believe in any of this, but still. But she said there's a way to get rid of it, though. To pass the bad luck onto someone else. What do you mean? You can sell the dream, transfer the misfortune. She said if someone agrees to buy it, the bad luck goes to them instead. And Jimin was quiet for a moment. That seems cruel. Why would anyone agree to that? I don't know, maybe someone who's desperate, or someone who doesn't believe in it either. Soyeon paused. Look, I know this sounds crazy, but I've been worried about you ever since she told me. 7 nights in a row. That's significant. What if there's something to it? Soyeon, I'll buy it. What? I'll buy the dream for you. I don't really believe in this stuff either, but I'd rather carry the risk than watch you worry about it. Consider it my gift. I can't let you do that. It's probably nothing, right? Just superstition. But if it'll make us both feel better. Soyeon tried to keep her voice light. How much do you want for it? Jimin laughed, but it sounded uncertain. I don't know. 5,000 won? Done. I'm buying your dream. The next time I see you, I will bring the money and we'll make it official. This is ridiculous. Probably, but humor me. And they met that weekend. Soyeon brought 5,000 won in a red envelope. Red for luck, she explained, though she didn't explain whose luck. Jimin took the envelope, still laughing, still thinking it was a joke. I hereby sell you my white tiger dream, she said formally. All the bad luck and misfortune contained within. May it bring you, I don't know, character building experiences. I accept, Soyeon said. She kept her voice steady. She didn't let her hands shake. That night, Jimin called her. The strangest thing, she said. I didn't have the dream. That's good, right? I guess. It's just, I've had it every night for 2 weeks, and now nothing. I didn't dream at all. Must have worked, Soyeon said. Must have. The changes didn't happen overnight, and that is the thing I keep coming back to. The thing that makes the story hard to dismiss as just coincidence. It wasn't dramatic, it was gradual, almost invisible at first. About a month after the sale, Jimin's cat died. The 15-year-old weren't happy she'd had since college. One day, he just didn't wake up. And it happens. 15-year-old, yeah, he was old enough, cats die. Jimin's cats had never died like that. They always lingered, gave her time to say goodbye, but this one was just gone. Then she got laid off. Downsizing. Her apartment was eliminated. She'd been there 7 years, and suddenly she was out. No warning, no severance beyond the minimum required by law. And her boyfriend of 2 years ended things a week later. Said he'd been feeling distant for a while, that it wasn't working anymore. They'd been talking about moving in together the month before. Bad months happen. People lose jobs, relationships end, pets die. None of this is supernatural. None of this requires an explanation beyond sometimes life is hard. But here's the thing. While Jimin's life was falling apart, Soyeon's was coming together. She got promoted, a position she'd been passed over for twice before. Her husband, who felt like a stranger for years, suddenly seemed interested in her again. They went on their first real vacation in 5 years. A distant aunt she barely remembered died and left her a small inheritance. Nothing dramatic, nothing that would make you think magic, just luck. The kind of luck Jimin used to have. The kind of luck that had shifted. Over the next year, this pattern continued. Jimin lost her apartment when the building was sold and converted to luxury condos. She moved to a smaller place, then a smaller one after that. Her father had a stroke and never fully recovered. A friend from college died in a car accident. Not her closest friend, but close enough. Then another friend moved away. She started sleeping more, but feeling worse. She told Soyeon she never dreamed anymore. Every night was just black, empty, like being dead for 8 hours. I feel like something's missing, she said once. Something that used to be inside me. I can't explain it. Meanwhile, Soyeon bought a house. She had a baby, got promoted again. Her mother, who'd been sick for years, suddenly stabilized. Her sister reconciled with the family after a decade-long estrangement. She felt guilty, sometimes, looking at Jimin, who seemed to be fading a little more every time they met. But she also felt, for the first time in her life, like things were going her way, like she deserved this. After all, it was probably just coincidence, right? And 3 years after Jimin sold the dream, she was diagnosed with cancer, ovarian, stage 3. It had spread before they caught it. The doctors were optimistic. Well, professionally optimistic, the way doctors are when they don't want to destroy your hope but can't actually promise anything. Soyeon visited her in the hospital, brought flowers, held her hand. I keep thinking about that dream, Jimin said. Her voice was thin now, tired. The mudang you found, what she said? Soyeon went cold. What do you mean? You said it was bad luck. The white tiger, you said something bad was coming for me. Jimin laughed, weakly. I guess she was right. That's not... Soyeon couldn't finish the sentence. It's okay. I don't really believe in that stuff. I never have. But sometimes I wonder, if I hadn't sold the dream, would things be different? Jimin closed her eyes. Probably not. Things are just what they are. Soyeon didn't say anything. She stayed for another hour, holding her friend's hand, and when she left, she sat in her car for a long time before she could drive home. That night, she dreamed of a white tiger. It was standing outside a window, looking in. Its golden eyes were fixed on her, and it looked sad, resigned, like something had been waiting a very long time for something that was never going to happen. Jimin died 6 months later. Cancer didn't respond to treatment. It spread to her liver and her lungs. And by the end, she was so thin she barely looked like herself. Soyeon was with her in the hospital room when it happened. Jimin opened her eyes, looked at her for a long moment, and said, I had a dream last night, the first one in years. What was it? The hanok, the wedding feast, everything was there. But the food was rotting, and the tiger wasn't there. Jimin's voice was barely a whisper. There was just an empty chair where it used to sit. She died that night. And Soyeon moved on. That's what people do, isn't it? Life continues. She threw herself into work, into her daughter, into the comfortable, successful life she had built. But every now and then, she'd have that dream. A white tiger outside the window, looking in at her. Those golden eyes watching, and never attacked, never entered, just stood there, patient and sad and waiting. She told herself it was guilt. She told herself it was meaningless. She almost believed it. I found the story on a Korean forum posted by someone claiming to be Jimin's younger sister, and she had found Jimin's journals after the death. Pages and pages about the dreams, the bad luck, the feeling that something had been taken from her. And then in the last journal, a series of texts between Jimin and Soyeon that raised questions. So the sister did some digging, found Park Chun-ja, and she confronted her. The Mudang confirmed everything. The true meaning of the dream, Soyeon's visit before she ever brought Jimin, the whole conversation they'd had. She stole it, the sister wrote, her best friend in the world, and she stole my sister's protection and left her. And now she is living my sister's life, the house, the family, the luck, while my sister is dead. She wanted to to ruin her, to tell everyone what she'd done. But what could she prove? That she sold it, that bad things happened afterward? Coincidence, people would say. Superstition. Nothing that would hold up in any court, any public opinion. In the end, she just stopped posting. The account went inactive and then got deleted. So nobody knows what happened to her. Nobody knows if she ever confronted Soyeon directly. The story just ends. And ever since I read this online, I think about the story a lot. The thing is, I can't tell you any of it was supernatural. Every single thing that happened to Jimin, the job loss, the breakups, the illness, could actually be explained by ordinary bad luck. The kind of statistical clustering that happens sometimes, where everything goes wrong at once for no reason at all. And everything that happened to Soyeon could be explained the same way. Sometimes people's lives improve. Sometimes hard work finally pays off. And sometimes the timing just works out. We will never know if Jimin's misfortune was because she sold a dream. We will never know if the white tiger was real, if it ever protected her. It really left and gave it away. But Jimin's sudden decline, Soyeon's sudden rise, the timing of it all, starting within weeks of that transaction, it's a coincidence to swallow. And then there's this. The sister's last post before the account was admitted, it contained just one line. Dreamed about the white last night. It was stand outside. Window, looking in at me, and I understood something. She never said what she understood. She never said what she was going to do. I don't know if dream selling is real. I don't know if the blessing can be stolen through deception. I don't know if there are guardian spirits out there waiting for the people they've chosen. But I think I know that Jimin was a good person who told her best friend about a dream, and she's dead now. Soyeon is living a charmed life in a house she bought with luck that used to belong to someone else. And somewhere out there, maybe a white tiger is still waiting, watching through windows, looking for a way back to where it belongs. So that's the story. The concept of memo, selling dreams, is real. It's actually documented in historical texts going back over 1,000 years. People still do it today. Sometimes as a joke, sometimes seriously. Whether it works, whether dreams really contain fortune that can be transferred, I don't know. But I think about it sometimes. The way her life was empty out, about how many of us have pulled our dreams to friends, to family, to people we trusted. I started never wondering who might be listening, never asking what they might want to take. Okay, that is the end of today's episode. Hope you guys have sweet dreams. And if you have a dream that sticks with you, well, don't tell your friends. Don't tell anyone. Who can you really trust these days? Sleep well, everyone, and see you in our next episode. Bye. Hey beauties and beasts, welcome back to the show. It's almost the weekend, and I hope I can keep you guys company while you wind down. This one right before bed though. I received a story from a viewer named Giselle, and this one really got under my skin. She moved from Brazil to Japan with her husband in 2015, and during her time there, she visited some cliffs that locals warned her about. But she did listen. So before we get into the story, grab your snacks, well, maybe keep the lights on for this one. Let's dive right in. Before I get into her story, I need to explain where this all takes place because the location is half the horror here. Fukui Prefecture is on the East Sea